Hi guys, Sanythe here, and I'm going to show you how to complete the Terminus Easter egg quest. Now for starters, you're going to need to turn on power and get the Wonder Weapon. I have a very thorough video on how to build the Wonder Weapon on my channel. It'll also be linked in the description. Now keep in mind that this main Easter egg quest is noticeably more difficult than the Liberty Falls one, and if you're purely looking for a strategy for the boss fight, from what I've heard, the dual GS45 Pack-a-Punched and the ASG are really good for the boss fight. Now on to the actual steps for the Easter egg. Once you have the Wonder Weapon, you need to find a tentacle trap and activate it. Then using the Wonder Weapon, shoot it with the beam back and forth until a hard drive pops out. If you try a trap and it doesn't work, try a different one. There are 2 in the biolab, 1 next to Juggernog, and 1 near the generator by spawn. Now, I'm not 100% positive on this, but I'm pretty sure that the correct trap will already have the vent where the tentacles come out of be broken and have the debris on the ground prior to even having activated the trap. Now pick up the hard drive and bring it to spawn and give it to Peck. He's in the room with the first generator. Next, head down to the lab again and go to the giant machine in the center. Interact with the window above the keypad, and now you're going to need a code. The way you find this code is around the map. The first number you get is by looking at this clock in this room with quick revive, and whatever hour the clock says is your first digit. In my hand, it's 7. Now if you don't know how to read a clock, here's this image to help you. Please learn how to read analog clocks, it's not hard. Now the next number can be found in the cafeteria with the armor station, on this playing card on the pin board. I had an ace, which is equivalent to a 1. The last number can be found in the room across Juggernog on the days since last incident sign. For me, it was an 8. Now once you have that code, go back to the tube in the lab and enter it. After that, you'll need to interact with the tube again, and this will put you into a lockdown and you have to take down Nathan, who is now an amalgamation. Now in co-op, your entire team needs to go up to the tube, and there are going to be these valves on the sides of it, and you all have to hold X at the same time on them. The timing's pretty generous, so don't stress too much about that. Now, when you finally beat Nathan, a cutscene will play. I'll keep it out of the video just so you can see for yourself in your own game. Next, you're going to want to jump into the water, and you'll find a key card near the bridge with his corpse on it. Go to the communications room, which is the little bunker building between Salmon Up and Juggernog, and it's just across from the C9 wall by. Now interact with the computer on the upper floor that has green text, and after a sec it should change to saying network connection error. You're going to need to get on a boat now and head over to the shipwreck, and on the side there's a big hole you can enter and climb up a ladder. You'll see 2 nodes on the table, and once you pick one up, you'll be forced into a lockdown, and after a few minutes when you complete the lockdown, a max ammo will spawn and the ladder hole will open again. Now if you're in solo, you can obviously only hold 1 node at a time, but you can come back and grab the second one later, and this won't force you into another lockdown. You only have to do that once. Now from what I've heard, there's been a very recent discovery of a skip for this using shock charges, where you just throw the 2 shock charges to the side of the latch and it completely skips the lockdown. Now you need to bring the nodes to 2 specific spots. There are 3 total spawns, but only 2 need to be filled. I'll go over all 3 spawns now. The first one is just south of the shipwreck on the southernmost island here. The next spawn is beneath the tower with elemental pop on it by the docks. Now the last is in the Speed Cola cave, which is also nearby the elemental pop tower. Just follow this pathing from Speed Cola and you'll see it here. Now all you're going to have to do is find which spots there's a gap, indicating that there's a missing node, and with the node in your inventory, go up to the gap and interact with it to add the node. Once you finish one, go back and get the other, and fill the second missing one as well. After you finish that, you're going to need to head back to Peck and interact with the mail slot next to him. There's going to be some dialogue, and you'll get a hacking device from him. This next step is going to require you to get on a boat, and there are going to be 3 buoys around the map that you have to hack. Right after you hack your first one, a timer will pop up, and you have to hack the next 2 before the timer's up. There's going to be parasites around the buoys, so kill them quickly, and then just start hacking the buoy. You can also just ignore the parasites, honestly, that's what I did. They didn't do enough damage to down me. And there's also no prompt to actually start the hacking, you just have to hold X while you're near it, and it should start pulling out the computer to hack it. It also wasn't all too difficult, and it seemed more stressful than it really was. You can just drive around kind of around the edge of the map, and you should be able to find the buoys just fine. Now, as soon as you finish hacking the 3rd buoy, you're going to need to head straight to the lab, as there's going to be another timer beginning. There will be bombs around the lab that you have to defuse, and there's going to be constant zombies spawning. There are 2 bombs on the very bottom floor where Melee Macchiato is, just at the bottom of the stairs. And the last one is near the tier 3 armor wall by. Now, this is pretty difficult in solo, so I recommend running either Ether Shroud or having a bunch of decoys or monkeys or something to keep you safe. I've also heard smoke grenades are really good for this. You just throw the smoke grenade at the bomb, then run over and defuse it while inside the smoke, and zombies just won't aggro you at all. Now, all that's left, like I said, is the boss fight. This is a difficult boss fight, and to trigger the boss fight, there's a door right next to Melee Macchiato. Now, I recommend that you skip as many rounds as you need to be completely prepared, legendary weapons and all that. Chopper gunners do work in this boss fight, unlike in Liberty Falls, so they're pretty good to bring, and they do a good chunk of damage to the boss. The injectors don't do a whole lot of damage in this fight. They're good for saving you, but that's about it. And lastly, I do believe his health scales up to the amount of players in your match, so it'll be a lot less tanky in solo, but don't take that to mean easy. Now, onto the actual boss fight, there are 3 phases to this. The first phase requires you to shoot red spots on him, and shooting anywhere else can do very minimal damage. He does slam attacks onto the main platform, which do a lot of damage, so avoid those as best you can. If he hits you with the slam attack while you're in a chopper gunner, or in your mangler injector thing, I do believe it knocks you out of both of those. Now, after you do enough damage, he'll disappear and there will be a bunch of tentacles around the edge of the arena. Shoot the yellow bubbles to do damage, and he'll eventually pop back up for his second phase. Now, in his second phase, he'll be all molten, and his new weak spot is going to be in his mouth. There'll also be some more tentacles around the edge of the bat, and they're going to be shooting at you occasionally. They're going to stay there permanently now. Once you do enough damage, he'll become immune to damage, and his 2 tentacles that he slams with will have yellow spots on them that you'll have to shoot. Now, after you destroy both, you can damage him again, and he'll eventually dive back down, and you have to shoot the outer tentacles once again to get him to resurface. Then he's in phase 3. And as for his third and final phase, it'll have him glowing blue, and he does have an instant kill ability while in this phase. When he does this attack, he'll have blue electricity around the edges of your screen that intensify, and when this happens, make sure you get behind cover and out of his line of sight, or you can avoid it by just being completely submerged in the water. His weak point is going to be his eyes now, the blue glowing eyes, but the hitboxes for them are pretty generous, so don't worry too much about hitting directly in the center. And from what I've seen, if you take too long on this, he can swap back to his first phase, so you have to shoot the red bubbles again. Now, once you deplete his health bar completely, you've completed the Easter egg, and the cutscene's going to play. Now, I'll let this cutscene play here, so if you don't want to see it, click off now, and have a great rest of your day. Adios.
Okay, Sam. Whatever your plan is for bringing back Maxis, it better be good.
It is. I have scraped all Project Janus files classified Director's Eyes only. Richtofen is obsessed with an ancient relic called the Sentinel Artifact. He believes it has the ability to manipulate a form of protomatter called prima materia.
You can't be serious. That term comes straight from medieval alchemy. Don't ask me to believe such horseshit. I am a man of science.
As is Director Richtofen, Dr. Strauss. The artifact is believed to be somewhere in the Principality of Avalon. He hired a criminal organization, the French Syndicate, to find it. They are interrogating a man called Gabriel Kraft. Your former associate, Sergei Ravenov, now employed by the Syndicate, abducted him on the orders of his boss, Franco.
I'm in.
Enjoy your revenge, young lady. I'm not chasing after an old wives' tale.
Oscar, we've all seen things that seemed impossible. And Richtofen is no fool. If he and Sam believe that this artifact can actually bring her back, we have to try. We can't give up on her. She never gave up on us.
She's right. Let's see for ourselves if this Sentinel thing is the real deal.
Agreed. But I still want to know where that bastard Richtofen is hiding.
Unknown. He may be en route to Avalon to collect the artifact.
Then let's find it before he does.
Heads up, people. Helo's ready. But the storm's getting worse. We gotta go, now!